The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today from Prescott, Arizona, James Michener with Realty One Mountain Desert. How are you, James?
Hey, good morning, Tim. I'm great. Thank you for having me on this morning. I appreciate it.
No worries. You know, we talked a little bit pre-show, and as most of my listeners know, I moved to Florida from Arizona, so I'm really excited about having a fellow Arizona. We could probably fill hours just talking about Arizona, but we're going to talk about you. So tell me, James, were you 6 years old tugging at your dad's pant leg saying, "Hey, Dad, I want to sell houses when I get older"? How'd you get started in real estate?
You know, that's funny that you say that. So when I was in high school, my mom decided that she wanted to move away, save some money, be able to buy a new car and whatnot. Was going to move with my grandma in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house with me and my brother and her and a dog and her boyfriend. And I just thought that was a really bad idea. So I ended up talking with one of my buddies. He talked with his parents and I said, "Hey, you can move with me." And then one of our other buddies said, "Hey, Dallas, my brother, you can move with us." And so we moved in with two separate families. My mom moved in with my grandma, and the family that I was with, the dad was a real estate broker, right? So I got to see how he worked, how he operated on a day-to-day basis, and I just thought it was so awesome, right? Like He woke up, he went to work, he got back about like 5-6 o'clock, but he always seemed excited to be out there and hustle and bustle. And then we started, as our relationship grew, I started learning about like his rental properties and like the investments and stuff. And by the time I graduated high school, he was probably 55 years old and retiring, right? Like He was done. It was 2006 when I graduated. So that next year was the big crash, or during that time, essentially. And which was crazy to go through all of that, like the boom and the bust and whatnot. And he essentially retired. You know, he had all his properties basically paid off and just finished a big apartment complex. And while my friends' dads that were like CEOs of companies, like big gun companies here, and doctors, were still working.
Right.
Oh man, that's just crazy. And the other thing that was kind of cool is he had something to do during retirement, right? Like he could still work on his like monopoly board because he had 24 properties.
Right.
I just thought that was neat. So I'm in college, right? I graduate, I go teach to Grand Canyon University. I'm a recruiter for the health and nursing program.
Right.
And I'm going into their master's program. I come back up from college, from working at Grand Canyon University and doing my master's program. And I'm sitting there at the bar with him at the house, and I say, "Hey, we got you in real estate." He said, "If I wanted to sell something, then I wanted to make a lot of money, and I wanted to be in real estate because I can be right around investments." And I was like, "Dude, that's a great idea." So during the same exact time I was doing my master's program, I jumped into my real estate license and started doing that as well. Completed the real estate license, dropped out of the master's degree program, started doing some real estate. Did that for about 6 months, dropped out of that, and went and taught English in Taiwan for 4 months. Then went to Thailand for about a month and a half, backpacked from North Thailand to South Thailand, back and forth. And then got back to the States, went and worked on a farm in Montana for a while, went down to Mexico, worked with our Race for the Wounded for the Baja 1000 for about a month and a half. And then met my wife here in Prescott and decided to settle down and started calling for sell by owners. And but the real funny part of that is like, as soon as I got back to the States and I started selling real estate, my broker said, just do some open houses, let people know that you're in real estate. Nothing about calling, right? Nothing about lead generation. So I did that for like literally about 6 months, and I got 0 deals. And I was like, this sucks. Well, during that same time, there was a real estate coach there, and he said, you need to dial and just do some circle prospecting and sit there for 3 to 6 hours and just call until you get a deal, right? And I had just gotten out of Grand Canyon University about a year prior, where I sat in a cubicle and that's all I did was call.
Yeah.
So I really didn't want to do that. 4 months goes by, run into that coach again. And he's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Still have 0 deals. He's like, when are you going to start calling? I'm like, I don't know. So a couple weeks go by after we meet and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit the phones, see how this goes. I know where to go. Craigslist, Zillow, get all the for sale by owners. So I started doing that, right? And I started seeing success. And then that led into like my sphere of influence started using me a little bit. And I closed my first deal after my first like 8 months in real estate of actually like getting back into it. And that next 6 months after that, I ended up closing 25 more deals. So
that's great.
Yeah. So I started in November of the previous year, didn't close my first deal until the end of June that next year. And then the rest of the time I closed 26 total deals from then on. And I realized like this calling thing is something that's going to work out pretty well. So I just started hammering the for sale by owners. I started talking with everybody I could. I got involved in everything I could. And then I started moving on to canceled and expired listings, right? So my first year I made 50 grand. My second year I made 180 grand. Then I made 300 grand, then 500 or 600, then 775, 900, then a million, right? So, and it's just been crazy. And at that same exact, I actually woke up this morning and I was thinking about it, like how crazy it is at such a young age that I made that amount of money and I put it all away, right? Like I've saved all that money and I bought 21 rental properties now.
That's awesome.
15 of those are paid off. I do hard money notes now, fix and flips, which I really like, wholesaling, which I really like as well, that I tie in with my team. And then my real estate team sells over 250 homes a year, right? And I just turned 35. A lot of my friends were like, man, you should live in Hacienda, which is the nice area here, right?
Yeah.
You know that. I think back to how grateful I am that I was like, that I had my head on, but I also had a blueprint because my father, my guardian father, showed me exactly what to do, right? The hustle and bustle, the going after it, the buying the rental properties and showing me how he can get retired early. And it's funny, when I go to parties with him and his friends, they always say, hey, James, how you doing? You know, good. Man, you know, me and the guys were golfing the other day and we talked about how you completed in 7 years what took us 30 years to complete, you know, because they're all in real estate. They're all wealthy guys and whatnot. And so they talk about me, and which is kind of cool to be in their conversation because there's some pretty heavy players in there. Yeah. And now
that's great.
I'm still running my team. I got a beautiful little family and great wife. And I've started a coaching program, like a group coaching program that I really like, and kind of got into that by accident, but also by just training my team members, right? About 2 years ago, I kind of realized that training and getting people to the next level was something that really inspired me. So I was coming back home from taking down 4 listings that day. And the reason I bring this story up is because taking 4 listings in one day is amazing, right? Like that's super great. You get home, you're pumped, you're telling your wife like, hey, I took down 4 listings. And she's like, cool, want to help with the kids, you know? And I'm like, I took down 4 listings, right?
She's like, thanks for doing what you're supposed to do, but take the kid.
yeah. And I get it because it's hard work, which she does. And you need to be there for the kids. But at the same token, like, man, take down 4 listings in a day is great. So pulling into my house, and then I get 2 of my team members call me, right? And they're like, hey, James, I just want to let you know like how well I'm doing with your team now. Like I was broke. I didn't have anything. Now I'm making over 100 grand. I just wanted to say thank you. And I had 2 back-to-back calls with that, right? And those 2 calls felt way better than taking down those 4 listings. I had just gotten to a point where like there wasn't that great of a return on getting the listings. And honestly, when I was getting the listings, it's like, damn, now I'm gonna have to deal with the bins, I'm gonna deal with all this stuff come up and whatnot. It was just gonna be a lot of work because I was working 7 days a week all the time, you know, like 7 days a week from 7 to sometimes 9 p.m. or something like that, you know. So money was great and it was way worth it. at the time, but something just clicked in me that day. And I thought, I want to do more training and get these guys up and going.
Right.
So I've had really good traction with my team. I've had a couple people on my team get rookie of the year, which is just amazing. I have one other person we're working really, really hard to get rookie of the year, and I think she will. She's just incredible. Yeah, that's my story, from going from college to traveling around to 0 deals to 26 in 6 months to selling over 318 homes to owning 21 rental properties, doing the fix and flip, the hard money. And for me, real estate has always been such a good vessel for retirement, right? So if you're a retail real estate agent, there's absolutely no way that you shouldn't learn about all the other avenues of investing within real estate,
right?
Because then you don't have to really have a side hustle, right? Like if you're buying rentals and whatnot, you're still in the game, and you're still procuring buyers, and you're still procuring sellers, because you're calling for duplexes, or you're calling for single family homes, or you're bumping into your clients that are like, hey, I got this really crappy rental and I need to sell it. You go look at it, you're like, hey, this is what the work's going to take to get this price, or you could sell it as is here, or I'll buy it here for you, right? And I picked up so many of those deals where they're like, James, will you just buy it for this price and I'll walk away from it? I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Like,
you feel like you're kind of duping them, right? I mean,
for sure. Yeah.
And
I felt like that a ton. Yeah. I felt like that with one older lady. She had like 6 cats in her house, and it was full of freaking kitty litter, and it was just terrible, but it was a great house. So she wanted to sell it to me for 175. And I said, yeah, I mean, I'll buy that, but you could probably get like 250 for this, She's like, no, I just need the money and get going.
Isn't that amazing?
I met with her 3 times and I prayed about it and did a bunch of stuff. And one of my buddies, who's a good mentor of mine, said, you know what, James, if you don't take it down, somebody else is, and they might take more advantage of her. Have her sign something that says this is what she could make on the MLS, and go forward with it. So yeah, there's been times where you feel like you've duped somebody, but at the end of the day, I'm really fair, and I try to be really fair with them. That way I can sleep at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Real estate's just been completely amazing. And everybody has a really unique story, right? It'd be cool if more real estate agents understood the power of making $200,000+ a year and being able to reinvest that into a business that's already like one of the most popular, one of the best tax friendly industries as well. And just go take full advantage of it, because we're coming across those deals all the time. It's just incredible. So
that's exactly what I was going to kind of dovetail with that, James. You're already doing 90% of what it takes to work in these, whether it's wholesaling, whether it's fix and flip, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just finding a different group of people, or matching them with a different group of people than you were before, or taking on, a project yourself as opposed to moving into someone else. It doesn't matter. And so many retail realtors don't realize that, it's like, wait, it's kind of like saying, oh, there's only the buying and selling of a home. No, there's inspection. No, there's insurance. No, there's the mortgage. There's so many different verticals that come from the purchase of that home. Well, there's so many different verticals in how the home is bought and sold, and there's different ways. I mean, no one is a realtor because of at first, they're being so altruistic, right? I mean, in you, it sounds like, James, and I remember the day, and it sounds like you did as well, where you kind of woke up and had that for others mentality, right? You were like, you know what, I really want to give back. I really want to do more. Yeah. And then money will always come, but the minute you start doing things for others, your life changes, not just your bank account, right? That's a bigger deal.
It's amazing you say that. My grandpa always said that. He said, because I'm like, man, you are so giving and you don't have a ton of stuff, right? Like, he's like, yeah, but when I do this for other people, like, not only does it make them happy, but it makes me happier to see them. And I was like, that's really awesome. So I started paying attention to that feeling that I had when I would do stuff for other people. Oh my God, I love it. Like, it's honestly the best. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. I think that's wonderful. I do interview lots of folks that haven't gotten to that point. and they're like, hey
Yeah.
man, I just got to get to 2 million this year. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's, if that's your goal, but that's awesome. So let's pivot a little bit and talk, we talked about how you got started and kind of what motivates you. I think that's a big motivating factor.
Yeah.
Let's talk about today. You talked about your team a little bit. So tell me about your team.
Yeah.
How many agents, how many, do you have? Just tell me about the team and how you grew that.
Yeah, so we have 12 agents and then about 4 admin staff that help
Okay.
with transaction coordinating, assistance for marketing, cold callers, texter, and then the 11 agents will work all that system through Follow Up Boss. And we'll have one team meeting through Zoom 11:30 on Thursdays, and then one in person once a month on the first Thursday of the month. And we've been the top team at every single company that we've gone to for, it's going to be weird to say this, like almost about 7 years, 8 years
Wow.
in a row. It's been insane, man. It's been
Yeah.
insane. Yeah. Number one company for better, or number one team for Better Homes and Gardens in 2021,
Well,
which was
fantastic.
great. So yeah, that was
What,
incredible.
so what's the future look like for your team or your team? I mean, if we were to put our prognostication hats on, and we're just hanging out talking, what's the 1, 3, and 5 year blueprint look like for you?
Dude, that's a really, really good question, because I think about that all the time, right?
Right.
So being in my position, when you're cash flowing like 300 grand a year passively, you kind of look at things a little bit differently, right? Because you have more options, especially because I don't go into debt and whatnot. So, I think the next year is going to look like this, right? The next year is going to look like I need to run my team as a business. And if I can't quite figure that out, like to where it's super passive, right? Like,
Right.
and it's not stressful. And as long as it's not stressful, then I'll keep it going. But I'll start leveraging even more stuff off my plate, and just take down the deals that I want to take down that are investments or whatnot. Then I'll keep it, right? If it becomes super stressful and it's just like maintaining, and it's taking away my happiness from my family and whatnot, I'm going to just close that down and, maybe do much smaller team and just kind of different version of that. Just like you said, you have other guys on here that are like, oh man, I want to hit 2 million or this or that. Like that's not my aspiration anymore, because I can make money outside of retail real estate.
That's fantastic.
So
if you can find that sweet spot, man, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I want that sweet spot. I'm more about happiness and health and like going after stuff, because I set myself up, right? A couple weeks ago, I had 2 or 3 agents call me all at the same time, right? Like back to back to back. My wife goes, dang, that's crazy that you're getting those calls. Anyways, so they call, they're stressed out about the market and what's happening. They're like, Will, what do you think? I'm like, I'm not too worried about it. I'm actually on the couch just hanging out with my kids right now. We'll just kind of see how things play out. It runs.
I love that answer. I love it.
But that's because I set myself up, right? Like
Right.
I set myself up. My team was still doing well because we have good systems and they've been trained well and they can go after it. So while they're tripping out, I'm sitting on the couch, just relaxing with my family, knowing that everything's taken care of, knowing that my team's doing really well. And this is after my team manager had quit, like literally a week or 2 before that. So I was like kind of scrambling that first week. And then I realized, man, we didn't really need her. Like she was a great person and we liked her, but we didn't really miss her that much. So next year will be that, right? Trying to feel it out. The next 3 years will be, hopefully we'll get to 25 doors, and just kind of see where the market's at. It really depends on what opportunities the market shows me, right? So, and how excited I get. And in that same breath, with the next year of real estate is going to be coaching, right? Like I found a big passion in that.
Nice.
I want to teach other people how to become financially free through real estate and build their real estate business, and how to put that money away, what deals to look at when they're going through the day in and day out. Because there are so many agents that miss out on these deals because they don't have mindset, me included, right? So let me give an example real quick. So I have a deal that we took down from our website, and my dispo guy calls me and goes, hey man, I can get this guy to sell you this house for $345,000 and carry the note at 2.75%. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. It's like, okay, let me take a look at it. I got busy, forgot about it. I said, hey, just market it out. We'll see what we can get for it. And then it pops up again through somebody else. And they're like, hey, at a higher price, hey, I can get you this deal at 2.75% at 365. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go look at it. Cause she's like, oh, it's a really great house, this, that. So go out there, look at it, bring my dispo guy. He's like, dude, we already have this under contract for 345. So you'll be saving 20,000. We'll just go through ourselves. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So we get in the car. He's like, dude, what the hell? Like, why didn't you just buy this when I told you about it? I'm like, because my mind wasn't there. Like my mindset wasn't there. We just started talking about creative financing with one other guy, Matt Beard, who's an amazing dude. Anyways, long story short, I end up making an offer on it yesterday to assume that loan of 2.75% because now my mind is there, right? My mind is ready to absorb that. So I think more agents need to have that mindset and go through coaching to see what that mindset is that they're missing so that they can get out of the rat race and work when they want to and how they want to. So that's my goal going into next year, is really help other agents with their mindset to get out of it a bit.
James, you get any more 2.5%, 2.7% deals, give me a call.
I know, right?
I'm just sitting there going, yeah, I'm in that mindset, buddy.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And you're right though. Being in the right mindset and understanding, not that you didn't understand it before, but when you're not in that mindset, you're not ready to comprehend the value of a deal. That's what I think, you're just not ready to comprehend that value of that deal at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we're getting ready to wind down here a little bit. A couple of things. I want to give you the floor here in a minute to say a couple of things, but how would someone get in touch with you, James?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, James Michener 03, and then Facebook, James Michener, and just feel free to send me a message on those. Financially Free Realtor on YouTube as well. So Financially Free Realtor, that's where a lot of my YouTube videos are going. I put some trainings on there, which I have a good one that I just put up there on probate and estate sales. Nice. Oh gosh, that's going to be an amazing training that I'm going to put up. I just picked one up, man. So I just picked up this property for $210,000, right? And it's worth $350. And that was through a probate and estate. I just had to put about 30 grand into it and do some landscaping outside. So I'm all in 240. It's worth 350. I'm going to build a guest house on the other side this year, and it should be worth right around 450 to 500 grand.
Nice.
After that, so I'm all about that. I love it.
There's some definitely good. I mean, it's shocking, and this is me too. So I'm talking about myself, actually. Yeah, I'll admit this. I don't do, maybe 2 times in my life have I spent any time with probate, a probate deal. So, and that's kind of sad, right? I mean, it's like, well, my mindset and my mind and my body and everything I'm doing is over here, and I know that's over here, right? It's like, hey, I'm over here and all day long. You just got to put in that extra, however much time it takes. And it's just getting that mind. I love the mind. I'm going to use that on your thumbnail about mindset. Oh yeah. It's going to be your thumbnail for the show, right? No, that's all great. That's great.
You got to do the mindset, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we're kind of at the point in the show, Jen. I like to give everybody the last minute or two to kind of talk us out, whatever's on your heart, your mind, and you feel the audience needs to know. Take us out here for the last minute or two. Give us some sage advice.
My best advice is who you marry is going to be one of the biggest decisions that you make. And although we get really busy in our real estate careers and we want to be successful and whatnot, success starts at home, right? So, and with God. So make sure that you're good with your kids, you're good with your wife, you're there supporting them, and that the strength is at the home so you can carry it to the job. Everybody always says, I can't believe you're so successful, James, this and that. And what's been the key factor? And the key factor has been my wife, right? So my wife has given me security. She's giving me happiness. She's giving me love. And because I feel that way, I go out and conquer the world so I can bring the world back to her and my kids. Right. Nice. And so make sure that you don't get too caught up in the success. I got addicted to it at some point. Like it was just insane how over my phone I was and this and that. It was worth it though. It was worth it. Right. So the other thing is, if you're young and you don't have kids, push super hard right now. Push super hard, because when you do have, and save as much money as you can and just start investing, because when you do have your kids, you're going to want to be able to take that time off when you can. And if you're not going to be super busy and your kid says, hey, dad, will you play with me? You take that extra hour or two, or you take the freaking day off and you go hang out with them, right? Or if your wife is sick, you can take that time off. If you're older, you have kids and whatnot, like be there for them, their activities, and make your work schedule work around you, not work you, right? Yeah. So I think that would be good advice.
That's definitely sage advice, James, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And then if you're an older real estate agent, like just be easy on us young guys, right? We're aggressive and whatnot. I get it. And
we had a lot of finger shaking.
Yeah.
Hey, James, why didn't you make those cold calls like I told you to the first, 6 months?
I know. He's a great guy too. I really like Bob. He's awesome.
Good story though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent story.
So overall, man, just be kind to other people. Do good for them and money will come. I promise it'll come.
Right.
So, yep.
James Michener, Realty One Group, Mountain Desert, Prescott, Arizona. James, thanks so much for being on the program. Great inspirational story. Definitely love to catch up with you the next 3, 6, 9 months, see how things are going. And if you're ever out in Florida, look me up and we'll definitely, I'll show you around.
That'd be great. Thanks, Tim. It was awesome talking to you and have fun at your son's wedding today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. You too.